So while you're down in Texas, you're known as the Texas Tornado. You're killing it.
Yeah.
Um, you wind up either holding or sharing 20 NCAA records. You become the NCAA Division One career leader in 1998 with over 6,000 yards. Are you surprising yourself at this moment? Are you
Well,
looking in the mirror and saying, "I knew I was good, but I'm really spectacular"?
at this point, no. My junior year, I led the nation in rushing and scoring on a 4-7 team. That year, I surprised myself. But after that, I kind of expected to improve on those numbers. So my whole trajectory, like in high school, every single year I improved on my numbers. And then I get into college, every single year I improve on my numbers. And then if I first 3 years in the NFL, 4 years in the NFL, I improved on my numbers. Then I broke that streak. But at this point, because I had such a spectacular junior season, I had the option to go into the NFL as a first round pick. But I was going back and forth thinking, do I want to go to the next level or do I want to stay in college? And one day I was looking at the record book and I was flipping through the pages and I got to the all-time leading rusher, Tony Dorsett. And I was looking at the yards and I was thinking to myself, if I do just a little better than I did last year, I could be the all-time leading rusher in the history of college football. And then I turned a couple of pages and I saw the all-time leader in touchdowns. And I did the math and I said, if I have the same year, 25 touchdowns that I had last year, I'll break this record too. And then I flipped two more pages and there was all-purpose yards. And same thing. I said, wow, if I have a similar year to what I had last year, I could own all three of these records, these all-time records. And to me, that was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something special. And so it made the decision to stay in college easy. And so that was the expectation, is that I was going to break those records. And so, it was a wonderful feeling in one of those moments where you feel rewarded for faith and believing in yourself, but it wasn't surprising. No.
Got you. You go on to win the 64th Heisman Trophy. What does that feel like?
It's that same. It felt like a reward for believing in myself. It goes back to that moment when I was on my recruiting trip and I saw Earl's Heisman Trophy, and I had that sense, that feeling of, if I come here, I can do that. And then the hard work that it took, and to have those achievements. And then the most special thing to me was my teammates. Because my junior year, again, I led the nation in rushing and scoring, but didn't even get invited to the Heisman Trophy because our team was 4-7. And so I knew for me to have my own personal, journey completed, I needed the help of my teammates. And so the way that our team came together and rallied around that focus and really helped put Texas back on the map, I'm more proud of that than I am the Heisman Trophy. That because of the season that we had, Texas was able to bring in guys like Vince Young and Cedric Benson and all these guys that helped, Jamal Charles, that helped Texas win a national championship in 2005 in one of the greatest football, it's 2006, in one of the greatest football games ever. Yeah.
Speaking of the Heisman, I know that moment has to be surreal for you. You said one of the reasons that you went down or chose Texas was seeing Earl Campbell. And the fact that you're able to get this Heisman, and to this day, both of you guys have statues in Texas. What does that feel like, knowing that your legacy will go on for indefinitely forever?
To me, especially all the things that have been going on in the world the past year or so, one of the things that's come out of it is Texas renamed the football field Campbell Williams Field. And you mentioned the statues, and Texas didn't allow African American football players to play on the football team until 1974. And so, and there's a deep racial history in the South, and specifically at the University of Texas. And so I think Earl would agree, to have two African American statues, three now, because, the first African American player, Julius Whittier at Texas, had just had a statue erected this past year. And so to me, that's what I'm most proud of, is that we're doing something to change people's perception.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.